Hello, my renegades. Welcome back to Rogue Radio. My name is Sarah Jane, and let's just, oh, I was about to pull a Philip DeFranco there. No, I'm not gonna get copyrighted. Let's just, get into this garbage. So today is actually part 2 of the Dhavie Inhumanity, series. I said that I was gonna do it, and my sources come from, of course, Chris Hansen, because he's been doing a very thorough investigation. I don't care what you say, Chris Hansen's been on it, he's been on point, and yes, there are people that might say that he's just in it for the popularity or the money or whatever that YouTube has been trying to buzz about, trying to find a scandal with him. And you know what? I mean, call me biased. I like Chris Hansen, and honestly, he's doing a very good job investigating. And the thing that people need to understand is that he is just a journalist. The only thing that he can do is gather information and report it to the FBI. And the only thing that a lot of his viewers and a lot of the people that are watching him don't like is the fact that the investigation between Dahvie, Vanity, Onision, and now the ICP, Insane Clown Posse Band, I know he's starting to investigate that. They're not, the solution and them getting arrested isn't fast enough for the viewers to enjoy. So, I've got to say this one more time. Investigations take a long time. Months, maybe even years. Because, honestly, if we are actually talking reality here, which we are, this thing that's happened between Onision and Dahvie Vanity has happened years ago. Okay? He is gathering information from victims and other people that worked with him and everything, and that is what journalism is. They gather information, make sure that they fact check everything before they bring it to the public for everyone to hear. And I know the only reason, well, I know there's more reasons, of course, because he's made mistakes on hiring certain people that were not had very good background, so I acknowledge that. But as far as Chris Hansen goes, he's a journalist. He's gonna do what he's gotta do. And a lot of people might not like that, but he's not a law enforcement. He does not have a team behind him anymore, like he did with To Catch a Predator. That was set up, there was law enforcement, there was cameramen. He doesn't have that anymore. He only has a YouTube channel. So stop expecting him to do To Catch a Predator when he's not going to be able to do that. Anyway, Chris Hansen interviewed 2 victims, or I guess you could say 1 victim and then 1 woman that basically kind of worked with Dahvie Vanity at the time. So, Katie Kane and then Nicole McGrath are the 2 women that he investigated at. Katie Kane met him at a concert with friends. He ended up meeting up after a concert, started talking to her, hugged her, gave her his number. She was 16 years old at this time. She said that he was charming, alluring to her, and they started texting and talking. He started sweet-talking her, and then it kind of progressed from there. Started hanging out. He ghosted her because she's underage, but came back around when she was 18 years old. So that should have been a red flag. But she went to see him on December 2010. He flew her to him, talking about going to Disneyland. So she was very starstruck, of course, because he's a celebrity and he seemed cool and she really kind of admitted that she was naive, and I don't think that's her fault. I honestly think that this whole thing is Dahvie's orchestration of everything. When you are underage, you are not at fault for things, especially when it comes to statutory rape or molestation or any type of pedophilic engagement that the older person would engage in with a minor. So let me get that out there. Nicole McGrath comes in towards the middle of this timeline, and she met a friend of Dahvie's, and he invited her to hang out with them at a studio. Dahvie must have promised a co-write with her, so that I don't know if that ever happened, but Katie was with them. Maybe they were dating at the time, is what she assumed. She'd taken Katie under her wing because she saw that she was starstruck, and she just wanted to kind of be friends with her. So, to Nicole, the band was very fun. They had a very good, fun vibe to them. They were badass. They were cool. They were really, nice. And then Katie starts talking about this X×3 video. She said that it was the worst night of her life. She's with Dahvie, and I don't think she's had a drink before, or maybe she has. I don't remember. But Dahvie decides to fix her a drink. And so she doesn't really know what's in the drink. She kind of assumed that there was tequila in it because it was strong enough. Everything was okay at first, then it got worse. She was most likely drugged. She was in and out of memory, and Dahvie took her into a closet, sat on top of her, and choked her. She was crying and couldn't breathe. And she said that she was taken by surprise. And the one thing that she does remember Dahvie saying is, "I'm going to kill you." After that, he undid her shorts and assaulted her. She woke up on a couch in the living room dealing with her memory loss, and they made a video of her, and it was, I guess, a blurry, pixelated video because back in the day they didn't have very good quality in video on phones or whatever. But she looked up to him, and that's kind of awful. He liked to promise his fans with videos and songs and involvement with the band, and it never happened. So, yeah. I am terribly sorry. I just can't understand why Dahvie Vanity likes to force himself on women, especially underage women. This is just disgusting. I mean, you know me, I have a passion for exposing people like this because they irritate the hell out of me. And the more and more I investigate, and the more and more I take notes on stuff like this, Dhavie Vanity is a monster. He is a child rapist. I don't care what anybody else says. He's a child molester, and he's a manipulator. He's very good at what he does, but he shouldn't be proud of what he does. Okay, he's not a teenager anymore. He's holding on to some sort of psycho dream that he can still be young when he's 34 years old. No. Find somebody your age, okay? And honestly, get some therapy or go to jail. Seriously, this is... I'm getting irritated. Sorry. I'm gonna keep going. Nicole said that he kind of had really good charisma and was really there for the music. After working with him and listening to his songs, took her in the booth, and it just happened with them recording a song, because they recorded a song. Now, the difference between Nicole and Katie... Okay, that's my text sound, sorry. The difference between Nicole and Katie was that Katie was a younger woman. She was the target. Nicole, at the time, she was maybe 22, 24, around that age. So she knew not to succumb to whatever he tried. And he never really did. He was just being an asshole to her. So, she does talk about the things that, how he acts towards people sometimes, being a whiny rock star. I don't even like to call him a rock star. His songs are shit. But he used her. He took advantage of her. He has no consideration for other people's feelings. He has empty promises. He's very late to photo shoots. He's never going to return your calls or your clothing. He borrows clothing and he never returns it. He doesn't sign contracts and has no idea how to be professional. So how in the world did he become a star? Like, how in the world did he become one of the main people that kind of was a catalyst? Oh my god, I can't talk. The catalyst for the emo movement back in the day. I don't understand that. If kids knew, and parents knew, and other people knew that he wasn't this demented in the mind, like, I get it. I mean, there are gonna be people out there, especially pedophiles, that will learn how to be charming, charismatic, and sweet, and that will win over parents. But I know I said this in the last part of Dahvie Inhumanity. I'm sorry, I haven't eaten, I don't give a shit. You want to know how I make some unique podcasts? If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. For one, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, and they're easy to use. Anchor will distribute your podcast for free so that it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download your free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's really fun. Come and join the Renegade family, alright? My point is that during this era where the emo movement happened, the emo movement, the music and the artists and people who started this era of being emo, okay, they were giving children and kids a voice. Now, I'm not saying that, that wasn't a bad thing. Of course it's not a bad thing. I think it was a very great thing. And if I actually was part of the culture back then and didn't care about my religious family, I probably would have been part of that culture. But I wasn't. And I still love emo music to this day. I had emo friends and they were very expressive. And that's the one thing I feel like the kids and the teens really loved, was because they were talking about things that the kids and teenagers were going through at that time. Popularity, body image, teen love, teen romance, all of that stuff. A lot of teens, you should really value your teenage years, because a lot of stuff may change, but a lot of things can happen for you in that age. And it's great. But this music, this emo music, gave kids a voice to talk and to express themselves. And that's wonderful. And I love emo music. You just gotta choose which ones are good for you. But because I lived in this era and I wasn't listened to as a kid. And I feel the reason was because the adults saw this and they're like, oh, this is gross. This is like the punk rock movement back in the day, or the rock and roll movement. There's always a certain movement that people and adults don't like. And so when the kids start having a voice, the adults didn't listen. They didn't like the fact that their kids were listening to this. They didn't approve of it, of their clothes, of their makeup, of their hair. And of course, because certain clothing and certain images of whatever you want to dress like gives people a certain opinion of you or an impression, adults thought that their kids were delinquents or kids that had mental issues or depression or all of that stuff. That is a stereotype. Some of them are just in it for the music. They love the music. I love the music. The music is amazing. But as far as them being heard, no, they weren't heard because adults assumed that they were in a rebellious stage. And maybe that's true to an extent. But what if your child was molested or sexually assaulted by a band member and you didn't listen? Because you thought your child had a wild imagination or was demented by the music. I mean, you should trust your child, not what the child is wearing, you know. But during this time when Katie was still with him, she stayed with him for about a month and a half to 2 months. And because he paid for her plane ticket, she felt indebted to him, and she was, I guess, trying to suck up to him because he was a stuck-up butt face. And I guess her mom called, and she was wondering where she was. She was worried, and Dahvie picked up the phone. He spoke to her on the phone. She said, she's fine, she's fine. Mom wanted her daughter. Her mom wanted her daughter on the phone. She said she was fine because he was standing right there, and it was hard to be honest with her. And then Dahvie took the phone again, and then her mom threatened him, saying, if you do not send my daughter back to me, I'm going to call the police. And after that, he was very irritated. He sent her back to Ohio. She was home a week later. He took her to the airport and forced her head into his lap and forced her into oral sex. She said that he was pushy. She came home and the video was released on the net. The video led up to the closet experience. It didn't necessarily record what was happening in the closet. But then so Nicole and Katie connected once. With the experience between her and Dahvie, he gave her an attitude and she gave it right back. She stood up for herself because she was older. And she also said, because she saw the video, the X times 3 video, and said that this was not okay. And she said to take it down. And so he said, whatever, it's fine, I'll take it down. And Nicole and Katie started talking and venting to each other back and forth around, like, after that. So, like I said, Katie was slut-shamed by the net, by the internet, and it caused a lot of pain and suffering, and she was unfairly targeted and victimized online. People were sending the video to her teachers, friends, and family, and her worst moments were broadcasted to the world. And I don't feel like any child or any teenager or any almost adult, or anybody, should be exposed in their worst way. I don't approve of this. So yeah. Nicole also says that he is a sociopath. He's not present. He's a predator, but not aware. She said that she was working on an album with him, I guess, and stayed at his apartment. And she kind of walked in, and I remember her saying that it was pretty cool that he had fan art on his walls. But something was off about it as well. And these are 9, 10 age kids that are attracted to him. And parents were manipulated. And that he was grooming them while he was charming the parents. That is a textbook predator. I mean, if you don't believe me, I mean, that's fine. You don't have to. But this is disgusting. He is a professional predator. Forget about him being a singer. I've heard his shitty music. It is disgusting. I don't like it. I've had friends that actually love him, and I didn't realize that he was a child predator until later on. And it kind of irked me because I'm like, I want to talk to my old friends that like him, and I want to know their opinion of him now. Like, do you seriously support a predator who preys on 11, 10, 9-year-old kids, 9-year-old girls, who promise them free merch, free VIP tickets, and a time to hang out with him? Just enough time to imply some sexual engagement? Anybody who supports Dahvie Vanity is just as messed up as he is. And that's my opinion on the matter. I don't understand why certain people refuse to believe when the evidence is so blatant and so obvious. I don't understand why anyone would be so negligent to support somebody like this and still love his music, still love him, still love Dahvie Vanity, even though he's done this. He's a professional predator. He charms the parents into preying on their children. This is awful, and any teen, any child that is in contact with Dahvie Vanity, run, block him from everything. You will have the worst experience of your life with him. And I am telling you now, get out when you can. I will make a part 3 and a part whatever, because I am going to keep investigating this. I will not stop talking about this. Dahvie Vanity, you will be caught. You will be put in jail. I speak it. You will pay. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Stay rogue, be a Jehu. Have a lovely Thursday. Goodbye.